most of the time in pretty much the game of Pokemon, what is the question that is hardest to answer and heard the most frequently? That would probably have to be, what is the best Pokemon? What Pokemon reigns above all of them? Which Pokemon in the certain tier or a certain style of game, like being played right now, what is the best? For the sake of argument, I won't, we could say, oh, these legendaries are the best, and, this Pokemon is like Arceus is the god of Pokemon, and, it's still good, and then all these legendaries are great. We're not going to go with that. And I feel the tier listings that, that are out there, those are pretty accurate to some degree. They're also Pokemon that jump around because the tiers are based off usage. We all know that. And, here's a list I've compiled. What is the best Pokemon in each tier? It's been asked to me enough, by a lot of other people, and even suggested on one of my comments from this show. And I figured I'd make it come up with my own opinion. I based it on what Pokemon have made a big impact on me. Showdown kinda, goes in. I don't play Showdown much because I have my own game. I don't really need to go to Showdown, even though I have had fun playing Showdown, and I can draw up a few things from there. And I know there might be one or two I haven't looked at, or, I might have forgot about. But I will try to, come up with the best, arguments I can and best backup I can provide on Pokemon. I'm going to take a few certain factors into account, like obviously the usage, that is based on what tier they're in, their stats a little bit, compatibility, which is like how do they work on the team they're put on? Do they really need a lot of support? Do they need not so much support? The reliability on how, like, personally, how many times have you used that Pokemon and it really gave you good results? The versatility, how differently can you build it? How can you make it this, a tank? Can you make it a sweeper? Can you make it a sweeper tank? Can you do a lot of different things to it? And one really main important thing, how I will point out, is how well can that Pokemon compete in the tier above it? Like, can that RU Pokemon perform in UU just as well, or maybe even that RU Pokemon can perform in OU? So we'll get to that. I'll start from the bottom. I did want to partially use the PU tier because that tier, I played it a lot on Showdown. I've had it on the channel here, and that tier, it's actually something I kind of like because there are a lot of Pokemon you just wouldn't think could be classified in a tier, but they do get put in a tier, and it's a very fair tier, and I do like a lot of Pokemon are on it. I've made many teams based around in the PU tier, but the best Pokemon, in my opinion, my opinion is going to be used a lot here, but I might as well just stop. But the best Pokemon in that tier would probably have to be Barbaracle. That Pokemon gets access to Shell Smash. He's the only Pokemon in that tier that gets it. I would have to believe. I would have to double check, but I think he is the most influential Pokemon that deserves that move because he's based off of, just that rock, kind of Barnacle kind of thing. That's like his lore, I guess you could say it like that. But that Pokemon can make the most use out of it. It is the PU tier, from what I played it a lot on Showdown. It is a very stat-oriented increase meta, where if you can raise your stats, it's kind of hard to stop you. And what does Shell Smash do? It raises your attack, special attack, and speed by 2 stages. So what if your defenses get dropped? Barbaracle does have some good health, natural bulk, but it's going to be fast and it will hit hard. And if you let those Pokemon in the PU tier get their stats, they're hard to stop. They really just use it well. He does deserve that move. You have to give it that Focus Sash. If we're going to go into its versatility isn't really there. You can only make it that one Focus Sash. You're going to have to Shell Smash and just attack. But the amount of teams I've seen this Pokemon sweep with, and I've even seen it sweep with, it is crazy. I've seen it even perform at higher levels, as high as OU. I've seen my brother play in OU Showdown matches and got really high rated, and he based the team around Barbaracle. So if you could, make it compatible with all the other Pokemon, as long as they don't have that priority, you can definitely lead with it. You there might be hard for them to stop you. It's going to take 2 Pokemon down with you easily. So I already went over stats and everything. And how would you feel, that Pokemon being really good for you? And I still feel it is kind of, even though it's not as versatile, but I still think it deserves to be the best PU Pokemon. So now let's move into NU. This Pokemon, I've seen so many times, and people say it's a staple in the tier, and I would have to say Hariyama. And when we talk NU, when I see a lot of NU matches go up on YouTube of other PokeTubers playing NU matches, I always see on both teams a Hariyama. It is just great. It's all around base stats. Its health is incredible. Its defenses might not be great, but for NU, the defensive stats are fine. Its health can stack up in OU. That's definitely for sure. That health can get massive. It's crazy. It has a natural bulk. Its versatility is even better because you have the choice between 3 different great abilities. Thick Fat, if you really want to make it bulky and not really get hit by those fire ice types. I can get Guts if you want to make it that Flame Orb Guts, and if you're not scared of burn, or if you are scared of burn, and it can get Sheer Force. So whatever route you want to go. So it has the versatility. I can see it being reliable as always. Bring it in as that comeback sweeper, or you can just open it, fake it out, and you can knock off whatever item you don't like. And I can feel it can get put on any team with its compatibility. And as I've said before, it does get used a heck of a lot. Now, we move into RU, and I don't know how much any kind of backlash I might get on this, but I am not really basing the list off of just X and Y. I will go as far as Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and that's what brings me to my RU best Pokemon. It's going to be Slurpuff. Now, hear me out. In Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, it got access to Drain Punch. What? Now, just so you guys don't know, that Pokemon does not get walled out by Steel types. It can set up a Belly Drum very easily because it does have a really good amount of health and really good defenses. You go for the Belly Drum, Citrus Berry, so it's like an Azumarill, but it gets unburdened, so it's going to be faster than a lot of Pokemon, and it maximizes its attack very well. And with Drain Punch, as I said, you have a healing attack in case you get kind of low from the Belly Drum, or you're already low from the Citrus Berry. And then you can one-hit KO most Ferrothorns and Magnezones, and those are in OU, so that Pokemon can handle itself even in OU, let alone RU, NU, and anything around it. It's technically a borderline 3 Pokemon, so it's in between RU and NU. But I put it in RU because I feel like putting it in NU is too low, so I had to put it in RU, and part of me felt like not having it there really would do it some injustice because the fact that it got access to Drain Punch in this new game really meant a lot just for those Steel types, because Steel types can't stop it, yes, but can they outspeed it? No. Can they outwall it now? No, they can't. It also gets access to Aromatherapy, so you can't status it, so there you go. It's going to heal itself. It's not bound by any choice item. It's still fast and hits hard. It's going to heal itself. And you could give it return to just take out anybody. Poison, Drain Punch, that's fine. It has Poison Jab. No, not Poison Jab. Play Rough. It gets that also. Take out those dragons, and also it's Stab, and that move's really going to, hit hard. It has a sustain for a 2-hit KO. So that is Slurpuff. You guys can definitely, I might see a lot of argument on that, on RU tier on what's the best, but I really feel like that Pokemon's very strong. And I wouldn't be surprised if if people start using it more. I would like to see it get used a lot more because that is indeed an interesting Pokemon. It is, I'm not going to count out those Gen 6 Pokemon and, it getting access to moves. People got to realize a lot of Pokemon in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire got new moves, and this one is definitely utilizing his. Almost getting the end here. Move on to the UU underused tier, the second, I guess you could say, best tier, because OU, I guess, would be the best, most, looked at. Now we go to OU. And one Pokemon, since I really started playing competitively in X and Y, there's one Pokemon that I would just always tell myself, oh yeah, this Pokemon does not deserve to be an NU. It should be OU by now. And it still hasn't made it to OU for whatever reason. But that is Florges. I had a really good argument in myself. I was like, man, I don't know if I should give this one to maybe Swampert or Blastoise. I'm not going to throw in megas here. If I don't know if I mentioned that before, I didn't want to really do any megas because megas can really shake things up a bit. And yeah, that's that. But Florges is the queen of all special defense tanks, or tanks in general. It can, like I said, it can stack up in OU, and I would have really thought it would be OU by now, but it really isn't. It can get put on pretty much any team as that, wish toxic stall tank. So it's got the compatibility, it's got the stats. The reliability can be, if you need that Pokemon to just be a safe switch in, you can bring it out whenever you want, and it can take a hit. Just don't switch out maybe that, Zap Cannon from an Aegislash or Magnezone and you're good, or any kind of Bullet Punch from a Caesar. The Toxic Stall, Wish Stall, that's definitely its core set. It has Moonblast, so it can take care of dragons, no problem. And as I said before, great switch in 100% of the time. And personally, whenever I see this Pokemon, I'm always like, wow, this is going to be hard to take out. I really got to start thinking about this. So then it becomes really that Pokemon. The person with it knows what to do with it. And then you're like, okay, what's this guy going to do? Is he going to actually, Toxic and Wish? He's going to protect, and he's going to Moonblast. They have different, moves, and Florges can be very good. So that's why I put it at top of OU, because as maybe people might agree, it should be OU by now, but it really isn't. So if it's not, in the tier above it yet, it's at the top of the tier it's currently in, I guess, if you want to say that. Now, we are at the end. I cannot stay still sometimes, but we are at the end of this. The overused tier. What is the best Pokemon? Now, as I said before in opinions, and I said what Pokemon I see make a big impact on me, and what Pokemon I've seen a lot in Showdown. Usage, stats, compatibility, reliability, everything. I would have to go for Landorus T. Yes, I had to pause there for a minute. Landorus T. Since X and Y release, that Pokemon has held top 5 in OU usage. Even currently, right now, in the month of October in Showdown, it had the highest usage at 19% out of all Pokemon. So it's already the most used Pokemon. So we got usage out of the way. Its stats are well-rounded. It's got very good defense, attack, great speed. You can, definitely take any kind of route. It's really good support. Its ability, Intimidate, can change a lot of situations in the game. If you bring it out on that, physical attacker, and then it, attacks drop that walls you out, it can be a good U-turn setup open. It can be put on pretty much any team. The compatibility is there. It's pretty much, you can just throw whatever you want. It is a ground flying. It can get walled out or stopped a lot by ice types, but then you can put whatever Pokemon goes well with that can stop ice. So you have it there, and I feel it is that reliable bulky attacker or speedy attacker or anything. Sorry, I've seen it take an ice punch before. That wasn't stab, but I've seen it take some ice attacks. I know it's times 4, but believe me, if you max out the attack and HP, I've seen it take a few ice punches, and I felt really bad when I couldn't take it out. So there comes, it's made a big impact on me, and I've seen it personally a lot of the times, and it's really that's the Pokemon. If you don't know what you need, it's right there. It has everything you need. That's why I would put it at the top of the OU tier, the top of the best, most used tier, and everyone plays it. It's always that safe pick. It's a safe switch in. It's a safe Pokemon to use. It's also a fun Pokemon to use. I do like its design, its style. Sadly, I don't have any strategy guide on it. I just want to go over the best and what I feel is the best. So, thank you guys. So just to end, you guys can leave any suggestions on Pokemon tier history. What would you like to be here? Anything competitive, anything old style, that'd be really cool. What would you like to know about back then? So just remember, it's not all about what you would feel is the best. It's about what everyone as a whole might feel as the best, and those Pokemon will get used and just maybe even become just great Pokemon in itself just by that. Yeah, I don't know any other way to end that. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll just see you guys later. Thank you.